This is Capsule on liveandlimbo.com. My name is Chen.
And I'm Andreas Babiolakis. This is an insightful look into film, pop culture, music, and the like. As you know, with Sean's interview earlier this year, we are pretty close with the people at the Box Tiger, which are a local band that are actually kind of making it big. We've known their drummer, Lauren Chen, for quite a while now, since high school, and their band, the Box Tiger, just opened a few days ago for Foster the People, which is pretty impressive for people that I know. Just from
that
growing
was
up.
at the Horseshoe Tavern too, the legendary Horseshoe Tavern in Toronto.
Yeah, and this just came out of nowhere, even for them.
Well,
I think they only.
I think they've been like working on it in the background just a little, but I'm pretty sure they were still surprised, and even after it happened, they were still in shock.
Oh, I don't blame them. That's massive. Even if you're not big fans of Foster the People in any way, shape, or form, the fact that they've opened for this band that's sold millions of albums and are clearly successful worldwide with millions of hits on YouTube. Some of their songs considered the best of the year from many publications, including Time. It's a huge breakout. And again, congratulations to the Box Tiger, even though I've already congratulated them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just great news.
I think it's amazing because you and I know the drummer, Lauren Chen, and from high school, and I've seen him perform at our high school's Battle of the Bands, and I actually helped film one of his music videos for one of his earlier bands as a Comtech project in the back of an elementary school. And so seeing him now get to open in this amazing venue for this amazing band with amazing people, that is out of this world, and I'm so happy for him.
I've actually shared the stage with them, believe it or not, at these Battle of the Bands events, actually. We actually lost to them at the one I think you worked at. Laura Chan's band, I believe, was called Sticking Issues.
Yes.
Sticking Issues, yes. And I believe they won that year. No harsh feelings, because again, I was friends with everybody in that band. Actually, their bass player lent me his bass amp for my own gig. And well, I could get into my story with the Battle of the Bands a little bit if you want, just to see why they beat me anyways.
Yeah, tell us about that.
My first band, which went up against them, like I competed twice in the Battle of the Bands in high school. My first band, which was up against Sticking Issues, and we lost. Well, clearly, if their drummer went on to open for Foster the People, then we had no chance. First band was called Stone Mason. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. But looking back, that kind of makes you feel not so bad to losing to him.
Yeah, well, exactly. And the fact that I didn't even know the song until the night before, like I'd pretend to just jam when we would practice, and we did practice a lot, actually. And I just kind of wung it.
You procrastinated your Battle of the Band show?
Not exactly. We practiced a lot, but I just kind of played by ear and wung it, and I wasn't very good at playing by ear because it was like maybe my third year of playing bass, and I just went with it. And then the day before, because we covered Mr. Crowley, which is by Ozzy Osbourne, we were watching live videos of it. And I remember the lead singer was going, "Look, that's going to be you, Andreas," or whatever, or Babs, I guess is what I was known as.
Yeah.
"That's going to be you, Babs." And I saw what the bass player was playing, and I was like, that's not what I'm doing at all. And I said, "Guys, I've got some bad news." So oddly enough, I guess I did all right, but it wasn't that good. And I wanted to come back to the Battle of the Bands and actually do a lot better. So 2 years later, in my victory lap year, because I took grade 13, didn't fail or anything. I just wanted to get into different courses after grade 12 and better programs for me. So I did grade 13, and I said, okay, I missed out last year, but this is it. We're going to go to the Battle of the Bands again, and this time we're going to win, because Sticking Issues is not here anymore because they've graduated. So originally there were 3 bands that I was able, or like that were wanting to participate. I was a bass player for pretty much all of them, and we
But
were
but
going to
was the
participate.
type of music? What was the type of music against sticking issues? They were more pop rocky.
Well, we covered Mr. Crowley, so we were kind
Yeah.
of like hard rock. But these new bands, one of them was heavy metal, one of them was I can't even remember. And then like the one that was kind of like the
Yeah.
mainstay project was supposed to be like a fun rock band. We were supposed to cover Rock Lobster by the B-52s, and the day
I think.
came,
Wait, was it judged or what? Voting or I forget.
the audition process.
No, like the to determine the winner.
Yeah, it was judged. They had
Maybe it wasn't
pictures.
up to their tastes.
Well, we'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second, actually, because this probably was even further from their tastes. We wanted to cover Rock Lobster by the B-52s, and the drummer kind of just didn't show up. And I was freaking out, going, okay, okay, I really, really want to be a part of this. And this is going to tie into what I said before about procrastinations, because this is kind of impressive. I'm still saying this now. Um, I said, I really want to do this. The guitar player was still up for it. I had my bass, and it was the very last class of the day, and I was almost giving up because the auditions were in literally 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, this is hopeless. All we need is a drummer. Might as well just ask the class. I was like, hey, anybody want to drum for something in 20 minutes that we haven't practiced for? And one of my classmates was like, yeah, I can drum. Sure. I was like, wow, okay, so there we go then. Um, we've got a drummer, but he doesn't know how to play Rock Lobster, so we kind of had to wing it. And we said, okay, we've never played before at all. What song do we all know? And one of the key beginner songs for any instrument is "Paranoid"
Stairway
by
to
Black.
Heaven.
No, oh
No.
God,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
My
That's not a
bad.
beginner song. That's a song people want to start off with, but
What
it's not
song
one.
did you say?
"Paranoid" by Black Sabbath,
Yeah.
because it's a lot easier on guitar than "Stairway to Heaven." I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Like I said, "Stairway to Heaven" is a song that everybody wants to learn when they're a beginner, but it's not ones that a teacher would advise you to learn. They wouldn't say, "Oh, learn Jimmy Page as soon as you start."
Class
But
101, Jimmy Page.
exactly, "Paranoid" was good because that's the first song I learned on bass. That's the first song my friend learned on guitar, and the drummer who just wanted to fill in actually knew what on drums. So I said, okay, this is what we're doing. But we didn't have a vocalist. So at the time, I listened to a lot of death metal or like black metal stuff like Burzum, Carcass. So I said, okay, I'll do screaming, and we will be like a extreme metal version of it. And
Yeah.
the audition came, and they said, okay, who are you guys? We didn't even have a name. So I said, yikes, we need a name though. And because I just did art class, we were studying hard edge abstract, which is an art style. So I just blurted out hard edge abstract. That's what we are. So that was our band name. And
That's pretty good, actually.
it's not bad for just pulling it out of my rectum,
Well,
right? Just,
I think that's where most good names come from.
yeah, just out of the blue. Like Led Zeppelin, again, referring to Jimmy Page, actually came from a bad review of theirs where the reviewer said, this band's going to go down like a Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they kept it. It's same thing as Daft Punk actually, because Daft Punk used to be, um, I think they were like a garage rock band or something, and the reviewer said it's a terrible mix between daft music and punk or something like that, and that's where they kept their name from. And yeah, so obviously, well, ours wasn't from a failure; it was just out of the blue. Like you said, all good names, I guess. So, um, yeah, we had Hard Edge Abstract, and we started to play. And I've never screamed in a microphone before. I'd always used to scream at home. I had these DVDs that I used to get on how to do like extreme metal vocals, and I just went for it, and it really sounded kind of good, actually. I said, oh, wow, okay, that's impressive. And we actually made it somehow. So we were set to actually play for the Battle of the Bands at a Catholic high school. Screaming. It was kind of cool. We weren't the first to do that though, but still,
No, I think they're pretty open, but yeah.
oh yeah, still, but so we only practiced 3 times before the show. That very first audition, the dress rehearsals were one of my friends said, "Yeah, can I play guitar for you guys?" And we just threw him in there, and we asked, "Yo, can we have another guitar player?" And he just improvised guitar solos, so we had that. So we had two dress rehearsals, and then we had the actual main event, and we performed, and everybody came up to us, and I performed with a cold as well, so that was interesting. A lot of people came up to us and they said, "You were really good, but I'm not into the whole screaming thing."
Everything other than the screaming, which was the main part.
And actually, the drummer was saying, "Why do you have to scream? Why don't you just sing?" I was like, "Because I can't sing." And I tried singing, and they said, "Oh, that's actually not bad. Like that'll do," right? But I didn't. And to this day, I think that maybe if I even sang it as badly as I did, that it would have actually gotten us further. But yeah, so there you go. Speaking of just doing things on the spur of the moment, this is why Lauren Chan's in a band that's opening for Foster the People, and this is why I'm not. So,
Well, you're here, so I'm happy to have you. Yay!
yay! People who just do things at the spur of the moment do podcasts. No, I'm kidding. But it's interesting because what I want to get into is how people like Lauren Chan make it, and what does it really mean to make it? Because obviously there's that dedication. I remember bumping into Lauren Chan actually at York University because that's where we both went. And I talked to him. I was like, "Oh, how's it going? You know, I haven't seen you in so long. Are you still drumming? Because I remember that's what you do." And he actually was a part of like a wedding band that would just do like tribute songs at weddings. So he was always playing, regardless of what it was or anything. He's just had that passion. So now that they're opening for Foster the People, would you consider that as like a big breakout, or
Oh yeah,
what would you consider
absolutely. That's
breaking
a
down?
big step. I think there's like a timeline that every artist, musician, or anyone else professionally has, where there's set milestones in their career. This is definitely a major milestone in their career.
For sure, but can you consider artist of any sort, musician, actor, director, any medium, to have multiple breakouts, or is there like one breakout where this is the moment that defined their career? Like this is the moment where
It's different. Some artists, they do have one moment, and many artists, such as DJ Cassidy, who I spoke to, I asked him the same question: when was his
right?
when was the moment that you felt like that you made it? And he's had many occasions where he felt that, and they're still going, which is great. But then there's some artists like maybe Gautier, and he had that song, the big breakout song last year. What was it called? Somebody that
It's
you
a
used
song
to know.
that you used to know.
Yeah, that was a song I used to know.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a big milestone for him. That was his breakthrough. He won Grammys, and I think that will be very hard to top for him.
Now,
It's just different for different artists. But as long as you have one, I'm sure he's set now.
I guess so. Now, do you, on that topic, do you believe in the lovely curse known as the one-hit wonder?
Yeah, it exists. There's also there's the one hit wonder, the one album wonder, and like the one moment wonder, and there's a few other one moments. But it's cool. Like if you're an artist to just have one of them, that's great. That defines you. At least you have something in history that defines you. You shouldn't be greedy.
The only literal one-hit wonder I can actually think of, going back to Daft Punk, actually, one of the members, I believe Tom, I can't for life of me say his last name without looking at it. Tom Bagelnata
Some French
or whatever.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we. Tom from, not to be informal, but basically that member of Daft Punk actually started a duo, I believe, called Stardust. Have you ever heard of Stardust?
Ziggy Stardust?
No, not Ziggy Stardust. That's David Bowie.
Oh, I know.
In the 90s, it was a duo called Stardust, and they had literally only one song, which is called "The Music Sounds Better with You." Now, you may have heard it before, and many people may have heard it because he became massive. Like this was like a platinum selling hit, like huge in clubs, huge on the radio. Like this was a massive song, and that was literally the only song that Stardust has ever made, and that was their actual goal, was to make a single one-hit wonder, and that's it. Like no songs for them to go to concerts with and have to play up to this one song that people know.
Well, at least that was their goal, and they had a goal.
And it worked out
Yeah.
extremely well.
So yeah, so maybe that was intentional.
But even so, the reason why I only feel that that's like the only one hit wonder is because yes, there's songs that oh okay, with one hit wonders, what most people consider those to be, people will like most people will know like this one song from the radio or from TV, like music videos. But then you have like the fans that know a lot more about that artist or know like a lot more songs, and they'll hold a lot of more of them like close to them, and they'll mean a lot more to them. I've been saying that a lot, but um, in the end, if you're actually a fan of these musicians, they won't just have that one song. Now, to those who don't want to dive deeper, they'll have these songs that they know, like these singular songs. Like Len had "Steal My Sunshine," Eiffel 65 had "Blue." Like these are songs from when I was a kid.
Yeah, okay, that's a one hit wonder.
But that's the thing. When I was younger, oddly enough, like my very first phase that of my many phases, I had goth, I had hip hop, I had extreme metal. My very first phase when I was about 10 was the whole Geno phase where I was into like techno music. I had the Tearaways.
Wait, you were a Geno?
A little bit.
You're Greek.
Well, not
You
like in the Italian
actually-
sense,
okay.
but
No,
not
I
in the
know,
Italian sense.
I know what you mean. Throughout high school and growing up, I had different phases too.
Yeah, exactly. When I was 10, that was that phase. Like I wanted to get Kappa pants. That was like my dream was like Kappa pants. I need. I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my phase. So when Napster first started and Kazaa and Morpheus, like I knew about the downloading program Morpheus before I knew about the Matrix.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I had Morpheus and I wanted to check out more of Eiffel 65, and I got a lot of their songs. Like I got My Console, I got Move Your Body, I got
Oh yeah, Move Your Body was good too. So they weren't really a one hit wonder.
that's the thing. But if you look at them now, what most people are going to reference,
Blue,
obviously. But that's the thing. If you dive deeper, are they really one hit wonders? If you're an actual fan of theirs and you discover all of these songs that you're pretty much really invested into, right? Does that still qualify as a one hit wonder because you've done that research?
Let's see. I think, yeah, they have. Okay, well, you can call it one commercial hit success.
But even
Move Your
so,
Body
isn't
did
Move
not
Your
make them
Body huge?
popular.
I thought that was pretty big.
But you don't even know what the rest of their album. What was their album called?
Oh, I could have been able to tell you back then when I was a kid.
But see, okay, so people like Lorde, some people will say Royals is her one hit wonder, but
Exactly,
it's not. It's not because because she's already had. Team is in the number one spot now, I think. But Move Your Body was never number one.
My Console might have been.
Number one in the billboards?
Maybe not that high, but like in specific billboards, like for genre
Like
based.
the YTV hit list?
Well, I don't want to use that as any form of credibility. No offense to YTV, but
Hey man, do you remember Tarzan Dan?
I do remember Tarzan Dan, of course.
That was cool. And then they
I remember
messed it
him
up.
more for Kiss 92, actually.
And then they messed it up.
What was the thing he used to say? Play safe in the sandbox or something?
Yeah. Okay.
Was that
anyways,
him?
back to topic. And
Right.
Lord's Pure Heroine will be considered like an amazing album too. So that like the song and then two songs and then there's more catchy critical good songs on there and then she herself is an item and then the album as a whole and she has 2 Grammys.
Okay, that's a little bit different though because
Versus Eiffel
Lord's
65.
not a good example.
Why?
Lord's not a good example.
What about that I get knocked down, but I get up again?
I knew people who had that album and they swore by this musician. Now here's the thing. Again, Lord's a bad example because she's from New Zealand, but
Oh.
they're from the UK, aren't they?
Yeah.
Chumbawamba.
Yeah,
And
Chumbawamba.
Eiffel 65 are from Europe as well. Over there, they're massive. Over here, they obviously didn't go as successfully as Lord did, but they still had like the few songs that we just talked about, right?
Wait, so Lord's international too?
Yeah, but like I said, she's a bad example. But looking at artists that are actually considered one hit wonders. In their home areas, they're not one hit wonders. They're pretty damn successful, right?
Yeah, that's true. But
That's why they broke over here.
I don't think they're living off that one song right now.
Well, maybe back then they might have been able to because well, music functioned differently back then. If it's now, obviously not because you really can't make too much of living on just music unless you really make it like somebody like of course Lord has, but
Yeah, well. So, do you think who's your biggest example of a one-hit wonder?
that's the thing. Like because I don't. If I had to think of a literal,
I actually think I used to have a list a long time ago of one-hit wonders.
well, while I try to think of one, can you think of some that were on there or?
I'm opening my iTunes.
Right now, I'm gonna try to think of one that is.
I had a phase where I only liked one-hit wonders too.
Well, everybody had that.
Like you only wanted to go find the one-hit wonders.
Everybody had that phase because everybody had that phase where they just wanted the top singles and yeah, the YTV hit list.
Oh, like Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin, yeah.
Aha, Take on Me. That's actually my favorite song. Like I have that on my driving list as we speak.
That's your favorite song.
That's my number one song
ever.
Yeah, didn't I tell you before? Like my life song. Someone asked me, what was my life song? Like you can only choose one song that incorporates every. Yeah, I asked you this, and I said it was "Take on Me."
It's not me.
You said something about Bruce Springsteen or something.
Oh, okay, not on a podcast. Right.
Yeah,
You're right.
on Facebook. Yeah, I
was
asked
that
you
the question? It was something similar like that.
Yeah,
oh,
what was your life? What is your life song?
oh, I thought you meant like the one that represented my life.
Yeah. What is the theme song of your life?
Oh, okay.
Mine would be "Take on Me."
I thought right now I thought you meant one that you would only listen to for the rest of your life, which I wouldn't mind because
no, that's different. I mean, like which one encompasses your life?
For those who are uninformed, which is pretty much everyone except for Sean, when you asked me this question, what was a song that you would pick for your life? I picked "Downbound Train" by Bruce Springsteen because
it's so depressing.
It is depressing, but at the same time, it's not a literal representation. It's just the fact that, well, if you look deeper into it, it's actually most of the song is Springsteen's or his character's daydream of whatever happened and what he wants for the future. But then he just snaps back to reality and he's back at work. And I feel that that's often something that many of us go through. Like we'll just be at work and we'll drift off, try to answer our own questions to life, to whatever's happened to us, and then we'll come back and realize, well, nothing's been resolved, and I'm still at work, and I've got to keep going. And that's why I said that. But well, obviously Bruce Springsteen's not a one-hit wonder, thankfully.
Oh, hey, get this one: Lou Bega's Mambo Number 5.
Goodness, as a kid, I loved that song. I can't even take it.
But that
now.
Is a one-hit wonder.
But then again, from his home area, would that be considered a one-hit wonder? Because he probably had a lot of other successes.
Okay, how about Billy Ray Cyrus's "Achy Breaky Heart"?
Well, I don't care for him at all. So
yeah, but that's a one-hit wonder. And Lips Inc.'s "Funky Town."
Oh, Funky Town! I actually really like that song.
Yeah, okay, but those are and My Sharona by the Knack.
My Sharona, absolutely. A good example of this kind of thing is to look at somebody like Bon Jovi or
he's not a one-hit wonder.
Or Journey. Okay, what about Journey then? Where they're not as extreme as the examples that you mentioned, but they do have like the one or two songs, or like Lynyrd Skynyrd, the one or two songs where everybody's saying, "Play Freebird" or "Play Don't Stop Believing," and they know that that's the song that everybody wants, but they have this whole catalog of other stuff that people have to listen to. So do these other musicians, except for again Stardust, because that's the only musician or musicians that I've ever heard of that have pulled off a literal one-hit wonder.
Oh no!
What?
No, on this list, DJ for Canada, DJ Champion's "No Heaven." I like DJ Champion.
DJ Champion's "No Heaven."
Yeah, that's considered a one-hit wonder. Poor fella.
Speaking of one-hit wonders, DJ Sammy's cover of "Heaven."
Yeah.
That song I love. That's a fantastic song, actually, and I still have it on my iPod. I remember the
what
first.
What about I got a good one.
Yes.
The Verve, "Bittersweet Symphony."
See, that's not I wouldn't consider that either because they've had a lot of other songs that have made it, not maybe not nearly as big as Bittersweet Symphony, and especially because of the controversy behind that.
Yeah.
Um, but Love Is Noise was pretty big when they had like their reunion album, whatever, a few years ago, right? I think that's what it's called, Love Is Noise, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I
It's
know
a pretty good song.
So did you want to have like a conclusion to your point here?
Yeah, I think one-hit wonders are less of a literal thing as opposed to being one that's more opinionated. Like if you honestly feel that, like if you believe in the fact that one-hit wonders actually exist, like I get why people would consider them to be a factual thing when it comes to music, but like I said, I feel like there's always more to dive into, and because you have casual listeners anyways, like for instance, when I wasn't listening to Lord, because I know that's your favorite person, when I wasn't listening to Pure Heroine, and you told me to, like the only song I knew at the time was Royals, and because I didn't do any more research, I didn't know any more of her stuff, and that's the same with many other people, and as you confirmed, she's not a one-hit wonder at all. So if you're a casual listener who's not willing to dive deeper anyways, then a lot of these artists may even seem like one-hit wonders, even if they have multiple stuff on the radio because you just haven't heard them.
Well, I think that's the issue. It's a cultural thing. It's the radio. Like the radio for the majority of people, they're the one that's their outlet is from the radio, and the radio is where you get the one-hit wonders, all the radio-friendly songs.
Absolutely. Now,
do you miss out on the rest of the good stuff?
For sure. Now, do I believe that record labels and studio execs pick up people and then spit them out once they're pretty much done for? Absolutely. I think that happens pretty much with so many musicians, especially on the radio, which is why one-hit wonders may start to come out of the woodworks, like again Gautier, like what has he done since? That's not even like his first song. He's got a couple of albums, Gautier.
But that's his one-hit wonder.
That's the thing, and well, again, like I don't know if I would consider it that, but I can see why you would. And no,
but
absolutely,
it's weird because in that video, that music video for Gautier, Kimbra's in it, and I actually love her entire album. But she does not have a one-hit wonder. But she deserves more credit.
Well, it's like Janelle Monáe and that "We Are Young" song or whatever, right?
You know Kimbra, right?
I know Kimbra, yes.
Yeah, her album is amazing, but she just never had that one-hit wonder. Or
and Janelle,
that breakout song.
Janelle Monáe is amazing too, and she's had more of a breakout, obviously.
Monáe,
but I don't understand why she's not on the radio. I honestly do not get it. If you don't know Janelle Monáe, which you should by now, look her up. That she is one of the best musicians of our time, by far.
We've covered her a few times too, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so jealous that people from Live and Limbo got to go see her and review her, and I didn't. It's
yeah, you will when the next time she comes around.
Yeah, I'll hold you to that. Actually, I better be able to see her. But my point is, to those who just listen casually to the radio and they don't do further research, Janelle Monáe doesn't even exist. She's just a part of that one song, that "Tonight We Are Young" song, whatever it's called.
I know, that's sad. That's sad when you think about it.
But then if you do research, you'll see that she's not somebody who's underappreciated. She's got huge critical reception. She's got millions of views online. But if you just listen to solely what's on the radio, this singer, one of the best of our time, doesn't even exist.
That's kind of why I don't like the radio.
Oh, I don't at all. Have I ranted about 88.1 yet?
No, I thought you liked them.
I did for a certain period of time.
Wait, they've only existed since the beginning of last year.
Not even, or this year, rather.
Was it this year? Like January? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just started January.
3 months. So we're as old as them?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Indie 88 actually has a lot of promise still.
Wait. We're going to do this now?
Yes.
Let's rant? Okay.
It'll be brief. Indie 88, if you're listening.
Wait. So okay, first, that segment about one-hit wonders is done now. Now we will move into spontaneous.
We're going to segue into Toronto radio, I guess.
From Janelle Monáe to this. Okay.
Well, why not? It's as sleek of a segue as her dance moves. Anyway, so Indie 88.1. when they were advertising themselves, they promised so many things. Like I initially heard about them at the My Bloody Valentine show. Like they were giving out stickers for this new indie station coming out next year, and people online, including myself, were saying, "Wait, My Bloody Valentine's gonna be on the radio?" And they said, "Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is gonna be a station for all those kinds of bands." And I almost exploded. I said, "Okay, this is gonna be amazing. I can't wait for a station like this. Like this is exactly what I'm waiting for." Now, obviously, I've never heard of them. I haven't heard them on the radio at all, especially on their channel, but that's fine. I listened to the radio station and they did their typical cuts between songs where it says, we're the station that plays this band and that band and this band. So I heard the Pixies, I heard the Smiths, I heard the Ramones. I said, okay, this is legitimate. Here we go. And I remember the first couple of weeks, I heard stuff like David Bowie. I heard.
Their very first song was "Ready to Start" by Arcade Fire, which was cool because that's not even one of their big hits. So
that's a pretty big hit, actually.
Well, compared to their other stuff.
I don't know. That was pretty big when the Suburbs came out, actually.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool that they did that.
Actually, today I heard "Here Comes the Nighttime," which I didn't even know was a single, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, going back to what I said, they'll have the odd thing that's fantastic. And then many, 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 many typical things. I've heard the Smiths, as they promised on their radio station, once. I've heard the Lumineers, which I've heard on The Edge, and many, many other stations, countless times, and I'm sick of the fucking Lumineers. Excuse my language.
No, that's why we have the explicit rating.
Exactly, for whatever bring up the Lumineers. Anyways, the Lumineers are harmless. They're pretty fun. They're cute, this and that, but I just can't. Like their music is, and that's the thing. They play this indie station is playing stuff that you find at so many other stations, and they advertise themselves as not vanilla radio, and we are the station that plays good music. Like these are actual taglines that they use. This is the stuff that they're pumping out, stuff that I've heard millions of times, not just on their station, but on other stations. They toss in one Smith song, then it goes back to square one, and it's now I'm hoping for this outcome because there's one of two things that are happening right now. First of all, this is what I'm hoping for. They're trying to draw in an audience, especially because The Edge is pretty much dying down now. Like The Edge is almost done entirely. The fact that Dean Blundell's gone, that show's lost so many viewers, or the station's lost so many viewers when that show disappeared, even when their respective individuals from that show were leaving. A lot of the the listenership, or whatever you want to call it, has changed. It's not even called like a rock station anymore. If you listen to The Edge, it says like
called now?
The Edge, Toronto's alternative station.
Oh,
it's called alternative. I swear to God, this is the station that used to play like Rammstein, Rage Against the Machine. I remember Marilyn Manson.
They try to be different at the beginning, and it seems cool. They get their niche target. And then they realize that this niche is not paying the bills. So they have to start throwing in the pop hits and stuff like that to get more viewers.
That's the thing. And
listeners.
I'm hoping that
it's hard though, because how can you do it? You need to still make money off it.
I guess, but at the same time, like it's tough because in the 88.1, which I'm hoping that this is what they're doing, is that they're bringing in this huge amount of listeners, and then once it gets good enough, like the amount of people, then they'll start playing all the stuff that they want to, because they're mentioning stuff like the release of the new War on Drugs album, which is a fantastic album, by the way, and the song off it, Red Eyes, I believe it's called, is pretty much my top song of the year so far. It's a fantastic, fantastic song. And they mentioned it. And then they mentioned St. Vincent. And then they mentioned Dum Dum Girls. And they mentioned all these musicians. I'm thinking to myself, why aren't you playing them?
Yeah, why won't they play them? They mention them, which is cool, but you got to play it.
Yeah, and they'll mention, like, they actually played London Grammar, which was really cool. But then, like, I've only heard them play London Grammar once, which I hope they'll play more of, because they're actually a pretty sweet band. But that's the thing, like, they'll mention so many things. They'll mention the Smiths. They'll mention Sonic Youth. They'll mention the Ramones. I've heard the Smiths once. I haven't heard anything from any of the other bands that I've just listed. They'll mention War on Drugs. They'll mention St. Vincent. These new albums that have just come out that are fantastic, and I haven't heard anything from them at all.
Wait, so what do? They talk about them and they go into what, a Britney Spears song or what?
No, not a Britney Spears song, but they'll go into um,
Something safe.
well, yeah, Lumineers, for instance, like I said, they'll play like a lot of Foster the People. They'll play Lord.
Oh, wait, she's indie.
That's the thing. I don't even know. I wouldn't even consider her indie. But then I hear Team like every single day, which I've got no complaints about. But
I don't get them
advertising.
because they call it Indie 88, but they're not playing indie music.
Oh, they do play a lot of indie music, but it's
Well, they need to have a station where they play like unsigned people, like actual indie people.
well, the term indie's very different now than
I
what it
know.
was supposed to be originally. Like, would you still consider Arcade Fire indie?
See, that's the thing. No, I would not officially not consider them indie.
What would you consider them?
They're alternative rock.
Well, I guess that's kind of what indie's become now. Yeah, like My Bloody Valentine, I wouldn't consider them indie, and that's who they presented like their first stickers for or whatever. From what I saw, anyways, like some of the first advertisements were at, I guess, a shoegaze concert. And that's
I think what they need to do is have a committee, and they should formally give this genre its own like actual name and not call it indie anymore.
that's not going to happen because we have so many genre elitists. That's one of the things that pushed me out of metal music a lot was, no offense, but the community.
No, but
a
at
lot-
least you know what metal is. Metal sounds like this. Indie sounds like something it used to not to.
talks to actual like metal fanatics, it's very, very, very intense sometimes. This isn't death metal, it's got this time signature, therefore it's new metal. And, this is a literal thing. I'm not even kidding. Like last year
Well,
with
technically, it kind of helps you when you're in your iTunes, right?
No,
When you're
but
trying to
it's-
categorize it.
it's being very, very particular over very silly things. Like last year with Death Heaven's Sunbather, which a lot of it has like post-rock sounds, a la Sigur Rós or Godspeed You Black Emperor. A lot of it had black metal sound. Some of it was ambient. Some of it was like an ambient noise. And so many people refuse to call it black metal. First of all, because the album cover is pink, which I don't even know why that has anything to do with anything. And then it's so emotional, and a lot of it's soft. Like it sounds like Sonic Youth. What happened to this band? They used to be metal. First of all, I don't know why. If it sounds good, it matters what genre it is. Secondly, again, like I said, some people are just so picky about what genre a metal band is, this and that. So keeping that in mind, so many people will argue over like a very small, minute genre within a genre within a genre.
Yeah, those people are usually the nastiest, the deeper you go.
Exactly, but that's the thing. So how are you ever going to resolve an actual
Okay,
big genre?
I think the issue is we should not categorize the band, but we should just categorize the album.
or categorize how good something is. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, that's how I see things now. I don't really care what genre it is. As long as it's the best in whatever category it is, I'll probably listen to it and I'll probably like it.
That's what I say. But okay, like to go back to Indie
You have to
88s.
break out of that. Like you and I went through all that time in high school having that phase, each phase that we talked about.
Yeah.
And it only took me until maybe 3 years ago to figure out that everything has the best in each category and that you should appreciate it all.
No, absolutely, and I agree. And I remember when I was a big metal fan, maybe when I was 16, I was actually scared to listen to some genres because I said, "Oh no, what if I stop liking metal so much?" And now I'm like, "Why did I care? Why did I care? I missed out on so many cool things." I mean, I listen to everything now. I can't listen to just one thing now.
I know, like Taylor Swift is amazing, right?
To be honest, she's okay, I guess.
Yeah. I was just trying to throw you off there.
I don't like
I like
her as
her,
a
I like her.
person, but like some of her songs are okay. I'm not gonna lie.
She's amazing live. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen her live, so I wouldn't know. You were probably like drowned out by her looks, so I guess.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, to go back to Indie 88.1, to sum it up in one way, they do play Radiohead, but they play Creep. That's Indie 88.1. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's the only song they play from Radiohead?
That's the only thing I've heard of theirs on that station, and I've heard it multiple times. This is Radiohead on an indie station. You could be playing so many things. You could be playing things off of Kid A. You could be playing things off of In Rainbows. In Rainbows is pretty accessible, especially for indie audiences.
If they play something off Kid A, that'd be cool.
That would be cool, but that's a bit of a stretch. But like I said, or even Optimistic is not that hard for, well, I guess, indie listeners, right? Because that's who they're advertising for. And they clearly are advertising for indie people because they're going to these shows, giving out these handouts for indie fans. They have all these billboards everywhere, more than any station I could see right now. So many bands, non-vanilla music, playing the greatest music in Toronto, indie hits, indie this, indie that, and then they play Creep. That's like the only Radiohead song of theirs that I've heard. Now, obviously, I've not heard every single song of theirs since they've started. But
so what do you recommend them? What do you recommend they do? What's the solution?
Well, like I said, once they reel everybody in, maybe start to branch out, because they do have. Here's the thing: they're not completely off the grid. They have a few things that I really like that they're doing. Like Alex Cross, for instance. Remember him from The Edge?
Yeah.
Alex Cross is being used in no way, in a good way, I mean, in no way that I've seen before. Basically, he's going through his vinyl collection on Indie 88. He's going through.
You mean Alan Cross?
Yeah. What did I call?
Oh, you said Alex.
Sorry, Alan Cross.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alan Cross. I'm not as knowledgeable as you are, apparently. But Alan Cross, they're using him like I've never seen his potential being used, and it's fantastic. He's going through his vinyl collection letter by letter, and you'll hear everything on this station. He'll play anything. Like I've heard him play Throbbing Gristle, which was crazy, and I heard him play The Fall, which are a fantastic band. And I couldn't believe that I was listening to The Fall on the radio. That was like commercial radio. That was fantastic. I was losing my mind. And so he'll play like a song a day that'll repeat throughout the day. I think it's on Thursday that they have a request hour, where sometimes like the request will be just, spoiled over things that they play every hour anyways, like the Arctic Monkeys, which I'm fine with, but they play them anyways. But then they'll have stuff that actually will be interesting.
Do you listen to them in the evening? Have you listened to Drive with Ray Oderus?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I thought you meant like the soundtrack to Drive the movie. I was like, yes.
No, like the show, like their segment on their station.
No, I haven't actually. How was that?
I don't know. I was just asking because I know her. I just
wait,
wanted to get your opinion.
Well, after all of this bashing, do you think we can get a word in? I'm kidding.
I'll see.
Here's the thing with Indie 88.
I think they need. Yeah, go ahead. What's the solution?
The people on it, I think, are actually really cool. Like, I think all of the hosts and everything are really cool. Like, they're fun to listen to. They're interesting. They have a good sense of knowledge, and they do talk about bands that I would expect from their station because that's who they're presenting all the time, right? Like I said, they were talking about new albums. They talked about war on drugs, and they clearly showed a big depth of knowledge that they just didn't get off Wikipedia for war on drugs. And I said, wow, this is what I want to be hearing. And I've got nothing wrong with them. Like I said, it's just some things need to be tweaked because I love No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age. I think it's a fantastic song, but on an indie station right after the Foo Fighters, I'm sorry, it sounds like it's The Edge coming back all over again, and that's not what Indie 88 should be.
That's a good point. I think they need to work on their specific targeting. Like you said, they have the budget right now because they just started off fresh. They have all the billboards, and they go to the correct shows. They just need to focus in on that before they blow out their whole budget, and then they have nothing after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, yeah. All right, so let's move on to some news topics. Some really cool stuff, actually.
Yes.
You know Lollapalooza?
I do. And yeah, Indie 88.1. I'm sorry, I think your station's still good, but like some improvements. But yes, Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza. They're actually...
yes.
Yeah, they're heading to South America, and they're going to have 3 huge shows there. Yeah, you know which bands they're going to have? They're going to have the Red Hot Chili Peppers, 9 Inch Nails, Soundgarden, Arcade Fire, Pixies, and Lorde. She's going to be there. That's in Chile. Santiago, Chile.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I know, like they usually have it in Chicago.
You know what's sad? If
What's
this
that?
was 3 years ago, I'd say, "Oh my God, the Pixies!" I'd fly all the way to South America to see the Pixies. After the newest material, though, I can't.
That's why you should have won 3 years ago.
I know.
Well,
Again, if Pixies,
Soundgarden would be cool.
sorry.
Yeah.
Soundgarden. Here's the thing with Soundgarden. I've always had respect for them as technical musicians because I think they're very talented. I've never ever loved them nearly as much as a lot of other people have.
Yeah.
But they are talented as hell. I mean, some of the stuff that they pull off is fantastic, and their sense of rhythm and like the way that they combine their instruments, some really interesting stuff. But I've never loved them as like a diehard fan that a lot of other people have. Like Alice in Chains, I have Nirvana, I have Soundgarden, I never did.
No, that's too bad. I saw them, and actually, I like the opener, Coheed and Cambria. They were pretty
Oh,
good.
I used to love Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. So guess
How-
guess who has the longest, or who has just extended the longest stay on the Billboard's adult contemporary chart?
Lord.
What? Adult contemporary?
Oh, I don't know. I was just messing with. I know you like her. Sorry.
Elton John.
Oh, Elton John. There we go.
Okay, so his record, so he has overdone his 53-year history with his song "Can't Stay Alone Tonight."
Wow.
As that enters number 27. This is his 70th 70 entry on that ranking.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's not 70. So he's definitely not a one-hit wonder. See, that's like the polar opposite of a one-hit wonder.
It's Elton John. It's not even just having that many hits. It's the name Elton John.
And do you know what was his first song to make it on that chart?
Gonna guess Crocodile Rock.
Your Song.
Right, that would make more sense.
In December of 1970. We were not born.
Not even close. That's pretty cool. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Elton John's.
He doesn't live too far away from here. Or his partner.
Where does he live?
Like, somewhere in Markham, I think.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I don't know. No. Somewhere in the GTA.
I did not know that. I knew
Oh.
Prince lives in Richmond Hill.
Really? Oh, I did not know that either.
Big
Like,
fan
he
of Prince.
actually lives here?
Yeah.
How come I don't see him?
Because he probably lives in a much richer area, and he
But does
probably
he
doesn't
not
come
go
out
to like the Apple store in Markville Mall?
I couldn't tell you. I don't even know.
Oh, that's
Uh,
interesting.
If I saw him, I'd tell you. I'd be like, "Yo, look, I just saw Prince."
He probably wears like a hoodie and sunglasses and all that stuff.
I don't even know. Prince is like 5'2", I think.
Would you
Actually,
even recognize him if you saw him in like normal stuff?
probably because, well, him maybe because he's got a very distinctive face. He usually has like a very distinctive style. But other celebrities probably not.
No. Oh well.
If they try to hide anyways, Prince is a bit different because you know what Prince looks like. I mean, you could throw paint on his face, like shave his head, and he'll still look like Prince.
Well, like Lady Gaga remained hidden until the day after at the K-pop showcase.
That's
South
pretty
by Southwest.
impressive
Yeah,
because even though she's dressed up in so many ways and shapes and forms, she's got a pretty distinctive face as well, actually. But that's kind of impressive. I don't know how she managed that.
well, to be fair, it was a K-pop thing, so everyone was dressed pretty wacky there.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so, on to some digital news. Pandora shares plunged because it was rumored today that Apple will be adding onto its iTunes radio service live streaming music, not just their iTunes radio thing, but like on-demand streaming, like what I use on RDO.
I'm surprised Pandora even survived this long.
Well, they're going down now because their stock just dropped like 11.7% just from that rumor.
Not even just that, though. The fact that they limit, well, they probably don't do it on purpose, but they haven't even worked on getting themselves more accessible to more countries. I'm surprised that they're just going off of like the few countries that they're going off of.
I know. And Spotify too. They're going to see a decrease, and we don't even get Spotify here.
No, and we don't get Pandora either. We used to get Pandora. I think I've talked about this before where
I still love RDO the best. RDO's the best. Apple should buy RDO.
eh, They could, or they could just try and crumble them in defeat like
But
they are with
have you
these
ever
other
used
companies.
RDO before?
No, I have
It's
not.
different than Spotify and Pandora. Whereas like the current iTunes radio is like them, where you just select the first song, and then it will make a random playlist. While RDO, on the other hand, is different because it's literally like an iTunes, but everything is streaming, and you can just make your own playlists and stuff like that.
I've not used radio, no, so I don't know how it works. That sounds pretty cool, though.
Did you see that Pitchfork link I sent you with Saint Vincent?
I didn't get a chance to
Oh,
actually.
it's funny. It's really short, but they were doing their overrated and underrated thing, and
Oh
so they
yes,
asked her about what she thought about Eminem, and she's like, "He's cool. He's really good at Donkey Kong. He's the king of Kong for Donkey Kong." And I thought that was hilarious.
that sounds like something she would say.
Oh, and you'll love this one too. They asked her what she thinks about elderly women, and
Oh
she
wow.
said they should be allowed to wink at anyone at any time because it's adorable. That's something she'd say.
For those who don't know, Pitchfork has this segment called Over and Under where guest musicians are asked about specific topics and if they think that they're overrated or underrated. The funniest one I ever saw was Danny Brown, but that's just because Danny Brown's crazy to begin with. So his answers will always just, well, I can't say a lot of them because a lot of them have perverted answers, I guess, but just it's a really cool segment that they have because you really get to see really raw emotions and expressions coming from these artists because they're asked about things that they either think are really cool, so they'll reply with, "Man, why don't more people know about this?" Or things that they really can't stand, where all of their anger will come out. Like I remember Earl Sweatshirt would, I think he called Gandhi overrated. He's like, "Man, Gandhi's fucking overrated, man."
Wow.
But
That's,
you just see all these hilarious raw emotions. So if you haven't seen anything apart from St. Vincent's, I say check it out. It's a really good segment on Pitchfork, actually.
yeah, no, I love that segment. And
No, it's
so to end off the show, we got some sad news. Gwar frontman
oh
Dave
yes,
Brockie passed away
that's the second person from
at age
Gwar that's
50.
died.
Yeah, age 50. That's so young.
Two people from Gwar have died so far.
Well,
Well, I
Dave was the frontman, so
yeah, that's pretty much it for Gwar then. But who died before? There was one of the guitar players, wasn't it?
yes, I believe so. But yeah, it's pretty tragic.
It's bizarre because Gwar, obviously, if you don't know who Gwar are one of those novelty bands that put on costumes, but they do it to the extreme. Like this was the ultimate version of this, where they would have these concerts where they would spray blood and
Blood.
other bodily fluids all over you. Well, not real, but fake.
Hopefully it's not real.
No, it's not real. I've been to one of those shows. It was pretty interesting.
Did you get squirted
A
with
little bit,
blood?
but it washes
That
out of your
sounded
clothes.
weird.
We wash this out of your clothes, but it's like disgusting. It's disgusting in all sense of the word. Like they're these alien creatures with these weird appendages, and yes, in that sense of the word as well. And it's the ultimate form of anything that Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson ever tried to be, or even Kiss. They're just like the most grotesque form of it, but at the same time, it was so satirical that it was actually pretty smart. And even musically, like their lyrics and stuff were just so out there and so scatologically obscene that like I said, it was actually really smart. It was wittier than you would ever imagine it to be. So when that kind of band gets hit with death, just to see them being serious, it's very, very bizarre in a contrasting sort of way. And to see all of the respect that they had, like Randy Blythe of Lamb of God had huge amount of praise for the singer of Gwar when he just passed away. Though what he said about him, basically saying that the lead singer of Gwar was such a huge influence, and he wouldn't say that about just anyone. He was one of the smartest, wittiest people that he's ever met. Criminally underrated. There's all these words of praise, and this went on for paragraphs. And this is from the guy who pretty much sprayed his audience with blood and feces and other stuff, and it's just crazy. Like it definitely makes me want to check out Gwar yet again because I used to love Gwar when I was younger, but just to check them out yet again because they weren't even just a band that I saw as a novelty. That's the thing. Like Alice Cooper and stuff. No offense. Like I kind of when I grew out of them, their novelty grew out everything. So I just couldn't listen to them anymore because that's all I saw them as. But Gwar, I just remember these memories of hearing. Like I usually don't buy into these kinds of gimmicks with like Steel Panther or anything, but with Gwar, for some reason, it just stuck with me. And I'm not even just saying that because of what's happened, but there's just something extra with Gwar, and it's just a really bizarre case with Gwar in every sense. Like even without the tragic passing that happened, they're just a very interesting group, and they're definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, you should definitely check out their backlog of music. And they have such cool names too. Like his stage name was Oderus Urungus. Like
Yeah, see, that's what I know him as. That's why, sadly, I can't even refer to him by his real name. That's why.
Dave, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Dave sounds kind of not
And then there
as
was like
exciting.
Balzac Jaws of Steel.
See, that's great. That's why I like them. They had character. Well, they were characters for sure, but
They were, but oh my god, I just remember the way they would always talk about things. Like I remember their interviews, it'd be like even the interviewers wouldn't even ask serious questions. They would just ask silly things like, "What does it feel like to come from space and observe our human life?" And they'd have all these answers where it's like, "Well, your human life pity." I have all this pity for you humans, and like you disgust me with your burgers. I'll be right back. I've got to go piss in the corner or something. Like just the weirdest sense of humor, but it was also really smart at the same time. Um, like basically, they were mocking every single sort of novelty band and mocking everything wrong with society with like a single word or like with like a single image. It was just fantastic.
that's the sad end of that era then.
Yeah, it's when your singer dies like that. It's
I don't even
yeah,
know what
it's
you
pretty,
can do, yeah.
it's pretty much done.
Well, Queen's coming back with Adam Lambert, so
Is that still going?
yeah.
Well, the thing is, first of all, that's years afterwards.
And Journey has that Asian guy.
Yeah, I don't know though.
Oh my god, our theory is destroyed. They're gonna
No.
try to come back.
I'm not against that concept, but Gwar's been around for like 30 years now. Typo Negative, when Peter Steele died 4 years ago, they just instantly disbanded and they haven't come back since, and I don't think they ever will. I guess some musicians agree with it, some don't. I've got no real preference. If I had to pick, I would prefer that they just stop entirely because that's pretty much it with the group. Especially if they're a tight group, like they've even if it's not even like a lead singer or whatever, they've lost a member, so that's pretty much it. But if they go on, I have nothing against that. So I'm all for Queen trying this gig with Adam Lambert. I'm all for what's happening with Journey. I'm all for with Sublime with Roman, I think it's called, where obviously the lead singer of Sublime is dead, and they have a new singer, but I guess they didn't get the rights to be called Sublime afterwards, so they have to be called Sublime with Roman.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why they're called that. But yeah, I'm all for that. Like, do I think they're better? No. Do I think that like it's like a great reincarnation? No. Actually, an example of it working is Alice in Chains. I thought the comeback of Alice in Chains with the new singer was pretty fantastic. Actually, when they first came out, with Black Leads Way to Blue, I think it's called the album.
Yeah.
I was all for that. I listened to it and I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of the music. Thoroughly impressed with the new lead singer's quality and talents. I thought it was just great. But like if you told me at the time that they're going to get a new lead singer, they're going to come back without their original singer,
yeah.
I would have said, I don't know how I feel about that. But it all went well. And again, like it boils down to the radio, and it boils down to One Hit Wonders. It's all in the end, everything music related, always about preference. So
exactly.
I think that's how we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, we'll wrap things up with that, and Andreas and I wish the best to the family at Gwar, all their extended family and friends and all of that.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you online, Andreas?
They can find me at Andreas Babs and
On Twitter.
Indie88. Yes, on Twitter at Andreas Babs and Indie88. If you want to come hunt me down, I apologize. Actually, they replied to me the other day when I posted on their Facebook, but I was just replying to like this random topic that they had, nothing serious. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So now they know who I am. So apologies.
They got your name.
Yeah, they've got my name. Just apologies. I do like your station. It just needs some fixing.
And you can find myself on Twitter at Sean Chen, the show at Live in Limbo, and use the hashtag Capsule Podcast to join in on the conversation. Please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. And as always, you can find the show notes at liveinlimbo.com/capsule. Take care.
See you later.